In this video, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the reports that are available within the Zearn tool that you can use during e-learning. It's hard to get enough information. If you're using Zearn, then there's some more information available to you that I think can be helpful. Of course, you decide how helpful and how you use it, but I want to show you where it's at if you haven't already used it and give you recommendations of how I think it could be useful. So I'm in my Zearn account. I'm going to click on up at the top the Reports tab, which I'm sure you've found. If you're in kindergarten, you have only the activity tracker information. And so the kindergarten in Zearn, they only have the numerical activities, the number activities. And the only information you can pull is you can see where they're at. Unfortunately, that's all that's available for now. Everybody else, you have these 4 reports available. The pace and progress reports are just simply where kids are at and what they've completed. Likely, if you're assigning lessons, you've already used it. There are other ways to see this information, but that's a good way to get a good look at your class as a whole, or to look at each individual's pace and progress. It becomes more helpful when they're online and you don't see them every day, perhaps. You'll use it more if you haven't used it already. The 2 that are more useful, the one that's most useful is Tower Alerts, so I'll show you that one first. Tower Alerts, if I click on it, if you click on it, you'll go directly into your class, so that I don't reveal data for any kid that's not appropriate. I did a screenshot of some data from somebody's account earlier, and this is what it looks like. You click on that, it'll take you straight to this page where it'll be showing you the most recent lesson you've worked on. You can see here, I can see where kids have, their student name would be here. I could see where this student has struggled 3 times on this particular Tower Alert, so it's really the electronic exit ticket for that lesson, but then they finally got through it. This student only had to take 1 try to get through it. This student 1 try. Scroll down, another student took 2 tries, so you can just quickly see, actually we're looking at 3 different lessons there, so what this shows me is this class is doing pretty well because there aren't even Tower Alerts. So for lesson 3, there weren't even any Tower Alerts. So it either wasn't assigned or every kid got through it on their first try. Because what won't show up are kids who completed it on their first try. Because it's set this way. Right now it's set so that it shows only 1 struggle or more. So kids who struggled at all, it'll show up. If they didn't struggle, if they only completed it, if they completed it the first try, they won't show up on this report. So you're just looking for kids who struggle. So it's a really quick way to see who had a tough time with that lesson. So if I see that a kid struggled 3 times, but then they completed it, I probably still want to follow up with that student. And in your second level, when you go over the instruction, if you have them do Zearn first and then you do the direct instruction lesson second, you're going to have this information available and you'll be double checking. You'll just know to keep a close eye on this particular student. If you're not doing that follow-up instruction, or if you've already done it and then Zearn comes behind, then this might be a student that you want to follow up on. And you'll get the feel for it over time. Maybe that's not. And maybe you know the student, and you know that they've got it and that's good enough. But maybe it's a student who particularly struggles. I have seen students struggle 7, 8, 9, 10 times on reports like this. When they're at that place, then they're just not getting what they need out of the tool. You might as well move them on, move them to a different lesson, and work with them individually where you can do the good scaffolding that teachers do to get them to the core content. The Zearn tool it does provide corrective and directive feedback, but it won't do the kind of scaffolding that a teacher can do, meaning reaching back a grade level or 2 prior to develop a skill to get them where they need to be. That's what a teacher will do that Zearn can't do. I just wanted to show you that you can change the settings on the Tower Alerts. The one we just looked at, it was set for a number of struggles, 1 or more. So I can set that to be 2 or more if I want to narrow that scope. If I'm okay with kids struggling once, then I won't even want to see those kids, so I could set it to 2+. There's a variety of settings there. I can also set it for just looking at the past 2 weeks of material, which is fairly appropriate because most of your kids are probably pacing fairly close to you. But if not, you may want to set it to be the past 4 weeks. You can go back quite a ways with that setting. So that's the Tower Alert. Now let's say that I do have a student who struggled 6, 8, 10 times and know this lesson isn't working for them. This is an option within Zearn. If I go into the curriculum, and I'm just going to choose something randomly here, 3rd grade, Module 3, let's go there, or Mission 3. So let's say I knew a student was struggling on Lesson 9. If I pull up this foundational lesson guidance, and this is on the opening page for Mission 3, near the top, if I just pull up this foundational lesson guidance, I've already downloaded it on this screen, then you can see that I can find Lesson 9, where my student struggled, model the associative property as a strategy to multiply, and they make a recommendation for students who struggle of a lesson that you could go back to and review that may help. So you can use this as a starting point if you want to do some intervention here. So if the kid's struggling here and you want to, then likely they're going to struggle in the upcoming lessons. You may want to pull them out of that Zearn lesson and assign them to whatever's over here while you work with them as the teacher to scaffold to this skill. That's just an option. That foundational lesson guidance is contained in every Zearn mission. So it's there for you to use if you want to. Again, it's just a really quick shot. I can go to any lesson and it gives me guidance or a recommendation for things that students can do. Most of them have a lot more information than this one. Like here in this particular topic, there are a couple of different lessons that are recommended for review. And it's not perfect by any means, but it's at least a place to start with students who are struggling. One more report I wanted to show you was, if I can find it, sprint alerts. That's the other option, one of the other options I showed you on the opening page of your Zearn account. So at the beginning of each lesson, they have some type of fluency, and on occasion they have the sprints, which is where kids attempt the sprint the first round, and then they attempt the second round. So you can see we have round 1 and round 2, and this just shows you how they did. So you'll get an alert if a student has less than 10 correct on a sprint, and that's now we're getting into foundational fluency, so I think that report could be useful too. You know that in this case, these two students on lesson 11, whoever they are, and I blocked out their names, probably need a little more work on whatever foundational skill that sprint was covering. So just some really quick information that can be helpful. One of the issues with online instruction and e-learning is that you can't see everything that you want to see. You can't see everything that you're going to see in a classroom. So use these tools to your advantage and let them help you out. You know my email. Hopefully you do. If not, well, my email is clturner at d49.org. Shoot me an email if you'd like to learn more about these reports, and we can schedule a Zoom session, and I can go through your particular account with you and show you directly what it looks like with your students.